Hey, how's it going, guys? Today I'm going to be talking about that new Mitski album entitled Laurel Hell that dropped earlier this year, 2022. For those who are not familiar, Mitski is a Japanese American singer and songwriter from New York. She's been active since about 2012, but she didn't really hit my radar personally until 2018 when she had released her album entitled Be the Cowboy. I feel like she's known for writing a lot of sad songs with beautiful melodies, and honestly, this album is no different. She's got her trademark style oozing all over this project. So, without further ado, I'm going to get into this album, talk about not only sonically how the album felt, but also lyrical content and just emotionally what the album felt like for me. So to start off with track number one, entitled Valentine, Texas. The song starts off with a sad bass synth that accompanies Mitski's warm vocals. Everything feels very subtle. There's creative use of delay, interesting filter, and cool use of a reverb as well on Mitski's vocals. It's all incredible to hear as it comes together to make the song feel like it's gradually both growing and shrinking in certain parts. And at some point in the song, there's a sudden, exciting explosion of the sound of drums and other synths coming together. It creates a very heavenly soundscape, and Mitski's vocals seem to sit flat right in the center of the mix. Everything comes together, and it's incredibly clean to listen to as well. I think this song radiates a lot of shoegaze energy, and Mitski paints a very beautiful painting with abstract scenes of romance as well. I think that this is a wonderful intro to the album. Track number two, Working for the Knife. This song features a very warm mix. There's a nostalgic blend of guitars, drums, and synths all coming together to create what feels like a very lively tune. It personally makes me feel like I'm in second grade again, or I'm just really young, and I feel like I had just watched a movie and we're at the end credits and this song is playing and the credits are rolling, and I had zero end understanding of the movie, since all I could do was maybe perceive the colors and noise, and I'm just experiencing a lot of things all at once. That's kind of what the song feels like. I really do love the tonality and the melodies of this tune. I get a lot of fuzzy feelings from the song. And lyrically, we can understand that Mitski is coming from a place where she feels like she has grown a lot, and yet it seems like she feels like she hasn't gotten anywhere. She hasn't moved to a different place emotionally. The song doesn't feature a real vocal chorus that we can return to. There's no like clear cut chorus, actually. There's about five verses with a largely similar vocal melody, but the lyrics are all different. So I think that helps further cement the feeling that we're moving forward, but things aren't actually changing all that much. I don't know if that was a deliberate decision made on Mitski and the producer's part, but it does work. It makes sense. Track number three, Stay Soft, features a colorful mix. It's very warm and it's very danceable. I love the timbre of the synths and the muted feel of the bass line, the instrument playing the bass line as well. I love the filter that was used on Mitski's vocals, and it's both bright and warm. And we also have a very sexy breakdown section halfway through the song. And I especially love when her vocals get so quiet that it's almost like she's going to whisper, but not quite. It's so close to it. And the song has a gradual crescendo, and Mitski's vocals break through, and the mix and everything explodes again. It's really exciting to experience. Lyrically, we hear Mitski describing an unhealthy, intimate relationship, one where one party gives full control to the other party, and Mitski has explained in interviews that the song revolves around people who have been hurt and scarred, and they come together and they find each other, and they end up using intimacy and sex and other things as ways to cope with pain and helping them understand this pain that they both have experienced and might still be experiencing. Track number four, Everyone. This song plays out like a dream that develops into a nightmare. The intro features a steady Moog-like bass and there's a simple drum pattern that accompanies this, and of course Mitski's very bright vocals, but it comes together in a very shadowy way on this song. It's very interesting to hear. There's tons of dissonant pitches, and I can feel a chorus of sorts thrown onto Mitski's vocals, a chorus effect, which adds some slight detuning as well. I think the real cherry on top on this song are the dissonant piano stabs that we can hear towards the outro of the song. It's very subtle, like it just sneaks in and then suddenly the song is over. But I like that a lot. It adds a lot to the overall tone of the song, which feels very bittersweet to me. The song is deliberately minimal as Mitski forces the listener to really focus on her words, focus on what she's singing about. And she's talking about naivete, accepting something into your life without really realizing what the repercussions and what the consequences of accepting this into your life may be. And you can, it's metaphorical, obviously. You can interpret it in many different ways, so I'll leave that up to you to determine. Track number 5, Heat Lightning. We have a somber melody from Mitski accompanied by sad guitars. And once the synth comes into the mix, the song has some shimmers of hope, but nothing really solid. It's just hints of something. And I also enjoy the tonality of this song. It's a very colorful album. And this one is another. This song is also very brief. Some of these songs just get straight to the point. And it's also bittersweet. Mitski has described this song as being a depiction of a real relationship, one where you have to learn to forgive and you just accept things as they are. Nothing is heavily dramatized, but it plays out. The song plays out like an honest description of what it's like to love and what it's like to have that love fade over time, if it does happen. Track number 6, The Only Heartbreaker. This is a really sparkly tune, and it feels like it makes it easier for the listeners to stomach the guilt that you might feel after ruining a relationship. It washes down pretty easily with a cool guitar solo that plays in the song. There's a lot going on with this instrument playing, and it feels like a synth that tastes like an electric guitar. It's really cool. It all comes together really nicely, and the mixing on the song feels otherworldly. There's a cool blend of guitars and synths, as I mentioned before. I really love the simplicity of the vocal melodies. It helps make the song not only more memorable, but also easier to recognize. As soon as you hear it, you know what song it is. Mitski in the song sings of being the bad guy. She's speaking from the perspective of someone who is going through a breakup or has gone through a breakup and has surrendered to the role that comes with being the one that ruined the relationship, and embracing everything that might come with accepting that role. And of course, this in the song, this seems to include accepting that no matter how hard you might try, you may come across lovers that fail to play an active role in the relationship with you. And so any mistake that you might make, for better or for worse, could be amplified. And that can lead to a sorrow that follows you wherever you go, no matter what relationship you might find yourself in. And honestly, I think that this song might be my favorite one on the album. I've heard it many times, the album, but this song as well. But it might be the top song for me. Track number 7, Love Me More. This song really sounds like glitter to me. It's really bright, featuring a lot of cool synths, lively drums, and insane filters that are thrown onto Mitski's vocals. It all comes together to make you feel like you're gradually ascending into the stratosphere. It's a very sparkly and warm mix. I really like that a lot. It's an incredible tune. The melodies that we have here from Mitski are gorgeous and honestly effective. And her vocals themselves feel very silky and very smooth on here. They feel right at home on the mix. The piano melodies featured in the song are also just as beautiful, as the piano gets, a solo of sorts. Not really a solo, but the piano does have a moment to shine just before the second chorus of the song. And there's also an arpeggiated synth melody that plays throughout the chorus. And this melody, immediately, my ears picked up on it as soon as I heard the song for the first time. And after I did some digging, Apparently, this ostinato was inspired by some of the themes found on the soundtrack for The Exorcist, the movie. And Mitski cites this as being a big sonic inspiration for the final version of the song, the version that we hear on the album. And the song itself plays out like it feels like you're running after the person that you love the most, and you're desperately trying to save what you have together. And it's a mix of passion, desperation, and yearning all coming together on this song. Track number 8, "There's Nothing Left for You." This song features a very hollow tonality that you can hear in the synth chords, and there's a bass that sounds like a synth patch that was stripped straight from a Mario 64 soundtrack or another Nintendo 64 game. A very distinct sound. Everything comes together to lay a cloudy base, a cloudy foundation for the song. Mitski's vocals float over the mix and makes the sad intro very beautiful. You can really feel yourself floating, and there's a sudden transition in the bridge that instantly grounds you, priming the listener to be a little bit more attentive, pay a little bit more attention. The second half explodes with a wider mix, and you can feel the song expand with drums and louder synths as well. We can hear a change in timbres, giving the song this section of the song an entirely different flavor. And then eventually the song switches back, grounding the listener once again, and slowly fades into silence. The main theme here of the song revolves around the feeling that you no longer have anything left to offer. There's a certain exhaustion that has faded, and you've now come to peace, knowing that you're okay with that feeling, that you don't have to fight it anymore. It's very metaphorical. It can apply to any sort of context. So it's really up to the listener's interpretation. Track number 9, "Should Have Been Me." This instrumental is insane. I love it a lot. The rhythmic guitars and the drums throw me back to the 70s, sonically speaking. The synths come together in their own section that adds a layer of an electronic beauty that I really do appreciate. It's a very lively tune also, and that there's a great tonal contrast with what the music feels like when you compare it to the lyrical content of the song. Mitski sings of the feeling that you get when you realize that a relationship has failed because of you. And, the former lover might have grown without you, but it's clear that they kept looking for you in other people. It's kind of bitter the way that the lyrics feel, and knowing that you didn't give that person what they needed from you. And we hear hints of regret in Mitski's vocals and lyrics as well. It's bittersweet almost. There's a lot of pain that I can feel in this one. Track number 10, entitled "I Guess." This song feels empty, but it also feels bright. If I had to describe the instrumental, just imagine the house from Courage the Cowardly Dog, and the sun is just blinding the scenery. It's not a lot of nothingness, but it's really bright. Mitski sings of accepting that you've reached the end of a chapter in your life, and you need to begin anew. Especially when, if we're talking about like a romantic relationship, especially when a lover has departed, you need to redefine yourself, which Mitski does hint at on this song. You also can thank the person for the part that they played in your life, and you have to keep moving forward. It's another brief cut. And finally, the closing track of this album, track number 11, entitled "That's Our Lamp." This song honestly has no reason to sound as happy as it does, and yet it does. The song features big vocals and reverb all over the place, and a very danceable synth pop beat with lively pianos and synth strings as well coming together. Mitski clearly understands the power that dancing has to drown your sorrows out. This feels like it has the same spirit as like a really solid disco tune. It feels like a triumphant statement of realization that you don't need that person that you had convinced yourself that you needed. The song is, in my opinion, a perfect closer to this album, and it offers some insight into where Mitski might find herself in the present day. You get a hint of healing. There's also signs of sadness, But there's also some reminiscing and and joy that you can feel in knowing that you can move forward without this person. Overall, I think that this project feels like there's no filler whatsoever. We get straight to the point with every single song, and even in the moments where we get tastes of instrumental breaks or transitional sections, for example, it's necessary fluff, but nothing feels out of place or insignificant. Um, I I love this album. Honestly, I've listened to it many times since it has released. But I was hesitant to listen to it at first just because if you're familiar with Mitski, you know how heavy her music can be. And she's touring for this album as we speak. She'll be playing in DC tomorrow, and I just barely missed the chance to see her tour for this album. But hopefully, I will get the chance to see her sometime soon, maybe in the future, if she does end up releasing another project after this, which I expect to be the case. She's grown a lot as a musician. She's gained a larger audience as well, and I'm happy to see her growing as much as she is. And I'm genuinely excited to see what project she ends up putting out after this. But for the time being, we've got this album to enjoy, and it is honestly a really good one. If you've taken the time to listen to me talk about Mitski and Laurel Hell, I really do appreciate you taking the time to do that. And I've been kind of busy lately, keeping my plate full, but if you do have music that you would like to share with somebody, feel free to send it my way. I'll take the time to listen to it. And if you want my feedback on it, I can let you know. So, do appreciate it. Thank you for your time, and have a great day.